6 mistakes that I've seen so many non-tech founders make. You want to build your own app yourself because you don't want to spend too much money. That's great. However, this is going to spend a lot of time and money if you don't know how to do it properly. If you're not vibe coding the proper way, then you're absolutely blindfolding yourself. I'm going to show you all the mistakes that I've seen in the past. The first one is a huge gap between, yes, it works in my computer and it works in real life. So AI is going to try to make anything look functional. No matter what tool you ask, whether that's V0, something online, something offline on your computer, it's going to try to make a beautiful UI, a working button, and it's going to feel like it's progress, but it's not really. Because here's the thing, if you ask it to make a login and a password page, yes, it's going to do it, but it's only going to try to make you happy as fast as possible. It's not going to make sure that the login, it's not going to add any guardrails around the login and the password. So what if the user tries to put a login that doesn't exist? Or what if the password is wrong? What if the user is trying to inject some SQL code inside of the login? What if someone already has this login and password? You know, all these edge cases that are actually extremely common in real life, well, the AI is not going to handle them very well unless you tell it to. You need to have some plans, tests, and security. If you don't have any of these, every AI feature is a gamble. So that's like stacking bricks on top of each other without checking the foundation. The one way you should look at AI, doesn't matter which model you use. So I know that Anthropic, for example, has created very nice models like Sonnet or Opus 4.7, I think now, but still. Even the best AI can only be treated like a junior developer. So that's like the 20-year-old guy who just joined your company and who's very eager to do something very happy, very quickly for you. And it's never gonna tell you that you're doing something stupid. It's always going to say yes to whatever stupid thing you ask it to do. So treat it as just a tool, because AI is just a tool. And yeah, just because it works on your machine doesn't mean that it's going to work on any edge case. So there's many ways to do this. First of all, is just to ask yourself as many questions as possible before you do anything. Luckily, no matter what tool you use, whether that's Claude or Open Code and whatever model you use, it often comes with a plan mode. Here, for example, you see this is build here, but if you hit tab, you can switch from plan to build. When you are in plan mode, this means don't build anything, let's just talk about it. And that's the first thing you can do. Another problem that I see is having no blueprint. Many new beginners, they think that the AI can read your mind. They say just, hey, build me a SaaS dashboard. Well, yeah, it's going to do it. It's going to be very happy to do it. Because again, the AI is just this super eager guy who just joined your company. So the AI is just going to guess everything. It's going to guess your data model. It's going to guess the user flow. And it's going to create a beautiful generic app that is extremely different from what you wanted it to do. Because it just wants to find the fastest way to a successful compilation. So the reality is you have to give up the idea that it can read your mind. The reality is, if you say it, build a dashboard, you want to say you need to make the list of the features you want to see. Sign up, use a magic link, I want a dashboard. And again, and this is very little still. An even better way is to use a tool like GSD or Paul. So for example, when I code like this, first of all, I'm going to go in plan mode. Or even better, I can switch to build, and then I'm going to use a system like GSD, get shit done, where I can tell it exactly what I need. And it's going to ask me so many questions to understand what I want before it types the first thing. So write a one-page PRD first and guide the AI. Don't let it guide you. This one that I just spoke to you about GSD. Some others exist like Paul, P-A-U-L, which is pretty good as well. Another thing that I see people is scope bloat. Scope bloat is when you think that, hey, the AI is awesome. It's like my Swiss Army knife. It can do everything. And you think, hey, one more feature won't hurt. This is extremely common, especially around people who don't have a lot of experience in entrepreneurship. They think, well, I want to build a beautiful project, a beautiful product that is going to do everything. So they say, well, I want my product to be able to do this core feature, but I also want the manager to be able to see what the employees do. And I want every user to be part of an organization. And I want the manager to be able to ship the employees through organizations. Yeah, you can do this once you already have users and they told you that this is exactly what they wanted. But here's the thing. First of all, it's going to cost you a lot of time. And we're using AI because we don't want to spend too much time. So that's counterproductive, okay? And the next thing is every feature that you add is going to be a hidden complexity. It's going to be one more chance of bugging. It's going to be one more line of code that the AI needs to read before it takes another decision. This is going to be more tokens that are going to be burned because your AI needs to send this code to your model before it can create the next line of code. And like every AI, like every model, well, and no matter what technology you're using, its memory is just like yours. It's limited. That means after a very long conversation, it's going to forget what it already did. This is even with newer models that accept a lot of tokens. So maybe you can be using Qwen. Qwen accepts more than 2 or 3 million tokens. That's awesome. But after a while, the more you do, it's going to start hallucinating because the context window is just too big. This is what happens when, first of all, you have too many features that you don't really need, and yeah, it creates a bloated mess. So I know it's very addictive because you just talk to the AI, you say, hey, it makes the features feel free, and you're building a Swiss Army knife when you just need a scalpel. So yeah, I know you want to build one more thing, but please have a strict MVP rule. The AI is very good at building an MVP that works nice. Have one killer feature, and please lock the scope until you test your core with real users. My suggestion, especially to the aspiring entrepreneurs out there, is use the AI to build a dashboard or a landing page. One thing, once you have a lot of people that are signing up to your waiting list, or even better, once you have some users that have pulled out their credit card and who have sent you their money so they could have the early bird discount, then you start building, not before. And I would say 50% of the startups that I've seen fail was because of this. This is the graveyard of startups, is founders who want to give too much too quickly. Well, no, please don't do that. Your users will tell you what they need once you have users. Next thing, the open door. This is a security blind spot that I often see AI make. So I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm recording this on June 1st, 2026, and I've been testing more models that have been becoming safer, but still, you need to know that there's a lot of security flaws that is being generated by AI because AI just wants to make you happy as fast as possible. So it's always going to build for the best case scenario and not for the edge cases. So the open door is AI made it so it's safe. Well, that's not really true. AI is trained on average internet code, which means it's insecure code. 75% of AI generated code has some critical safety issues. SQL injection is a way of hacking that is almost as old as the internet. Hard-coded keys is something that exists as well. So I just tried to vibe code something using V0 and it stopped using hard-coded keys. So this is good. But still, lots of AI are still going to have hard-coded keys inside of your code, especially if it doesn't have the choice. For those of you who have never coded before, you need to understand the distinction between front-end and back-end. Front-end is what you see with your eyes. It's all the code that is going to be executed on the user's machine, on their iPhone, on their computer. Right now, this video that you're seeing is coded inside of a front-end because the front-end is the code that was sent to the device that you're using. Backend is where all the safe stuff should be going. This is where all the sensitive stuff, all the keys, the passwords, the API keys, anything that is sensitive should be on the backend because the backend is code that is always on your machine, that is going to be on your server. Well, here's the thing. When you ask AI to build something very quickly, it's often going to build just the front end without the backend. And so when it needs to get some data from any third-party website, any third-party API, where do you think it's going to put it? Well, it's going to go on the front end, which means if you have any keys on the front end, they will end up on your user's computer. And then anyone can just do right-click, inspect, and look at the code of your page. And if there's anything here, they can look at the sources and they will see. They will see all your passwords here by just doing right-click, inspect. You would be amazed at how many websites still have some keys in their code. One leak is all it takes to wipe your SaaS before launch. And don't think that it won't happen to you, okay? Because today, the people who are going to attack you, it's not people who are vibe hacking with a hoodie. No, the people who are going to hack you is just armies of bots that are crawling across the internet. Myself, I did this to be transparent with you. I had a front end that was just deployed on a local server, and I didn't really care too much about an API key. I put it on the front end, and I knew it was bad, but I just wanted to do it quickly. The next day, I received an email from a white hat hacker who told me that he found an API key inside of my front end code, even though it was a personal server that I had shared with nobody. Luckily, the guy was a nice dude, and I said thank you. But it just means that anyone can find it very quickly. So the API key that you just pasted inside of your front end, it's now in your Git history. And even so, Git is something that we use for source control. I'll speak about it a bit later. Once something is on GitHub, it's there forever. Even if you delete it, well, it's still there. AI is not going to clean it up. So first of all, run security prompts everywhere. There are skills that you can use for anything that is related to safety. Lots of AI tools have the capacity to install skills, which means reusable capabilities for your AI agents. So for example, every time I code here and I want to make something new, well, I have a list of skills here. So these are the skills that I use. For example, I've used this skill called PPTX to generate this presentation. I have a skill called front-end design to create beautiful front-end designs. And some skills that you can also install here. One of them is very good is anything related to OWASP. OWASP is all the safety that should be inside of any application that you create. So OWASP, yeah. Be sensitized to this word and to this skill. You can install some skills to make sure that your AI that your AI generated app knows about safety and compliance. Here, this one, for example, once you install it, then your AI is going to know about all the categories and prevention patterns, access control, cryptography, injection design flaws, all the things that you do not want to learn, but the AI will learn about it, and it will know what to do to make sure that your app is safe enough. With this being said, 2,000 installs is maybe not a lot, but still, you get the idea. And of course, if you're handling real data, it's always good to hire a human reviewer, like this guy, to make sure that your code is actually is not going to fail on you. You would be surprised. I often speak about the T-app, TEA, that was Vibecoded, and it wasn't even hacked. It's just that all the data was accessible like an open door. If you had the URL was hidden in the front-end code, and of course, someone found it by just doing right-click. It found the URL, it just followed to a website. I mean, the URL, the database was accessible online, and there were 72,000 women who had all their data, driver's license, pictures, all available for anyone to download. Another one is no safety net, the house of cards. Yeah, this one is terrible. It's the fixing loop. So for those of you who have never vibe coded before, it looks very nice to vibe code because you just speak to the AI and you say, just please create this website, create this app. For example, this presentation that you're seeing right now, I vibe coded it and then I changed it. But the thing is, AI code is very brittle. That means you want to do something and it works. And then you say, please add a feature. And then now it creates a bug. Then you say, hey, fix that bug. And then it creates bug number 2. Then you say, hey, fix bug number 2, and then it creates bug number 1 again. And then it goes from bug number 1 to bug number 2. This is terrible. And then you are inside of this pattern, then you just want to say, no, put it back the way it was before. And no, and the AI is lost. Newer models like Anthropic, Sonnets, Opus 4.6, 4.7 don't have this problem as much as before, but still, once you are inside of this tangled mess that nobody understands, you're on your own. So use a version control tool like Git. Tests is good also. It's good to have tests, but before you write tests, use a version control tool like Git. So Git is a way to keep a backup of every step along the way. So I can show you, for example, every time I code something, so here's my open code, and every time I have a version that I like, I'm going to open my Git, and I'm going to write a few commands to tell it, so is there any, I'm going to look at the status, is there anything, nope, we're not there. So for example, this is where I put many of my projects, including the presentation that you just saw right now. So once in a while, once I have a version that I like, I'm just going to open git bash here. I'm going to tell it what is the current status, git status. I see that my index.html was modified. If I want, I could ask it to show me what was changed, and you can see there's a change before and after. Anyway, I don't care really about that, but what I'm going to do is to say, well, please git add everything to the next backup, and then I'm going to say git commit. I'm going to add a message, modified index, for example. There, and that's it. Now, the next time I have a bug, I can close this. The next time I have a bug, I see the list of all my different commits, and I can just tell Git, hey, please put it back the way it was at the previous backup. It's like saving when you're in a video game. Just doing a few things like this can really change your life, because when I see this tangled mess, I'm going to say, okay, stop. I'm just going to ask Git, remove everything since the previous backup, put it back the way it was, and then I can either clear the conversation or compact it, or just open a new conversation and ask open code, well, here's what I want to do. And usually, most of the time, this is going to clear any kind of bug and hallucinations. Next thing, the wrong workshop. The mega prompt trap. It's a bit like the same thing. It's like building a skyscraper with toy tools. This is something that I see beginners make, is they try to copy paste some between chat windows. They don't really know which tools to use, so they start with ChatGPT, with Gemini. They don't really want to spend $200 because they don't want to spend too much money with Claude. So they do a bit of everything. The reality is, if you just try to ask a bit of ChatGPT, a bit of Gemini, a bit of V0, a bit of Lovable, you can do it, but you're going to have a lot of technical debt before you even launch. Well, okay, I understand that you just don't want to spend too much money. However, you can use some tools that know about your code base. Here we spoke about Claude, but I understand that Claude is a bit expensive, but don't worry, I've got a solution for you. Cursor, if you were a developer, that makes sense, but I guess if you're watching this video, you're probably not one. What I would suggest you do, I'm in China and I love free tools, and I think Chinese tools are the same or even better than anything that comes from the West. So I love to use open code, and if you use open code, they have some models that are very good. This one is Vibecoding, for example. You can read it here. Vibecoding, in reality, it's a GLM. I think it's GLM 5.1 or 5.2, which is a model it's the one that comes by default with open code, and I think it was created by, was it Moonshot? No, it's not Moonshot, it's Drupal. And guess what? It's completely free. It's completely free. And you could also use Quen or Quopus. They have so many Chinese models that are really better, open source, and faster. And I code with $0 per month. If you're interested in seeing all the tools that I use to code and all the agents that I use for free, feel free to drop me a line on below. Let me know. Yeah, and build incrementally, one component at a time. This is important. We spoke about this in the previous slides. Yes, I understand you want to have something that does a lot of things. However, build one thing, close the conversation, open a new conversation, and continue. If you don't want to spend too many tokens, compact the conversation, or even better, use a tool like GSD that we spoke about this already. GSD. This way you can start the conversation again, and it's not going to have to upload all your code every time. It's not going to burn too many tokens. And yeah, even if it burns a lot of tokens, you don't care, because I'll show you how to do it for free. 3 a.m. crash when you don't have the undo button. So same thing, I'm going to go pretty quickly here. I don't know what this does, but it works. Okay, that's fine. But if you don't have any version control, I just showed you how to use Git. If you don't have any version control, then you have no undo button. You have a crash at 3 a.m. Well, you ask the AI to fix it. It hallucinates. Then it spiraled out of control. You cannot roll back. Now you have a bug on top of another bug. How are you going to fix that? You have no way back. You're trapped with no map. Luckily, if you do what I just showed you, you have Git running. You have basic Git. And every time you have a change that you like, Git commit. I just showed you. Git add, Git commit. And then if you have anything that doesn't pass the vibe check, you just undo it with one click. If you don't like the command line, you also have Git that you can use with the GUI, which means you can use your keyboard and your mouse instead of just the terminal. So the choice is yours. You can either keep coding like a beginner and you're gonna spend all the time and the resources that you wanted to save, or you can plan it in a better way. My suggestions for you: you need to plan. Use a tool like GSD or Paul. You can test. You can use some skills that are going to write some tests before you build anything. If you're interested, I can show you how to code while using testing first, where you first tell exactly what you want, and then the agent keeps working until it has this result. Safety. You can use some skills to make sure that you are following all the OWASP safety procedures. Scope. Please do not try to do too many things at a time. One thing at a time. Tools. Please use the correct tools. You need a version control tool like Git. It's going to save you so much time. I know it sounds scary. Believe me, in just half an hour, you can learn 90% of what you need with Git. And yeah, version. You have the version control that's called Git. Yeah. Vibecoding without a plan, test, or version control is like building a house overnight. Yeah, it can look incredible on paper, but the foundation is not going to hold. So my name is Ben. If you need any type of help, if there's anything you want to see me talk about next time, please feel free to drop a comment, and I would be very happy to help you build quickly, fast, for free, and for cheap. See you next time. Bye-bye.